Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 696, and it's, as you can probably see, quite miserable weather here at Rosnaula. It wasn't like that, it was pretty decent. Well, it wasn't sunny, it was overcast, but it was dry and nice. But now it started raining. It was only expected to be about 10% chance of getting rain, but I guess we're lucky and got the rain. It's 696 days since this project started. So I started it as an accountability tool for myself to keep doing something daily, some form of routine or habit. And I always wanted to write a blog and decided that I will push myself and write the blog not every couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks, but actually try and do it every single day. And natural thing was journaling about whatever happens every single day. And this is what I did. And at the same time, in parallel, I decided to do the podcast. So initially I was just doing audio versions of the posts, blog posts, but now it's kind of freestyle video equivalent, and they complement each other. So blog post is about the same day and the podcast is about the same day, but altogether there are small things in one and the other that might not be in the other, so they complement themselves very well. So this is the project, and today I'm back journaling or back vlogging about previous day, which was Tuesday. And Tuesday was very nice in terms of weather. It was half sunny, half overcast, but it was dry and the temperature was okay. It was a bit windy, but I titled the post "Saving Jellies" because we did a small thing with Julian around the jellyfish, but I will talk about it in a second. Let me just have a look at my cheat sheet, what I wanted to say, the main pointers. And let's start with the fact that it was the day off for us, so we did not deploy the sauna on Tuesday. We decided to take one day completely off, no morning deployment, no evening deployment, just the day for ourselves, which is not very often a thing since we started the business. So it was nice time that we could sleep in the morning, not worrying about the morning deployment. I did actually wake up fairly late. I think I woke up about 10:30 a.m, which was a bit too late, to be honest, in terms of work. But about work I will be speaking probably in tomorrow's episode or in coming days, because there's something significant that is happening on my work front. So that was a late wake up on a day off. We did our own kind of things, our chores, a bit of spending time together, and then we decided to make a late breakfast or early lunch and go somewhere. And we didn't want to drive too far, so we decided to go for a walk and drove to Bundoran, specifically onto Tulan Strand, which is a great, amazing beach with golden sand. A lot of surfers are there. It might be dangerous at times because it tends to have rip currents, but in general it's a beautiful place. And we went first to Foam, cafe, which is a kind of a bit hipster, but in a positive way, surf type cafe, where we like to buy coffee and some sweets or treats. And we did that. Then we drove to Tulan car park and we went on for a walk. And on that walk is exactly what happened about jellies. So we started, actually it was very windy, so we went onto the dunes. The interesting part about Tulan Strand and that area, and massive dunes that are there, obviously grassy dunes, but massive dunes. That area is not typical state, well, it is state owned, but it's not a county council that owns that area, or it's not a private land. It's land that belongs to Department of Defense, because there is a military base not far from there in Ballyshannon. So all these terrains are covered by Department of Defense. So it's just a kind of trivia time, I guess. So sometimes you can't go to the dunes, because if they do any exercise like the shooting or whatever, even though it's far away, they protect people from being hurt by mistake or by some rogue I don't know, how do you call it, projectile or anything like that. So basically access to dunes, sometimes it's locked, but yesterday it was fine. We went onto the dunes to protect ourselves a bit from the wind, but while we had less wind, we got another annoyance, which was the sharp bladed, or maybe the grass there, the dune grass is not sharp bladed, but it has sharp pointers, and it it pricks you very often, so it's not a pleasant experience. So about halfway through, we went down the dunes onto the sand, and the sun came out for longer, so it was a good moment to go there, even though the wind was pretty hard. We enjoyed walking along the strand, and Elizabeth went a little bit further ahead, and she did her kind of distance, while Julian and myself, we started looking for jellies, the jellyfish, and we found one blue jellyfish, which is rare here. They are smaller jellyfish, but they are probably the most potent of the stingers that you can fairly commonly find on our coast. It happens to be that we see a barrel jellyfish, or the lion's manes, or the man of war, but they are very rare and at the far ends of Ireland in a very warm summers. But from regular jellyfish, we usually get moon jellyfish, compass jellyfish, and sometimes the blue jellyfish. So mostly we were finding compass jellyfish and a couple of moon jellyfish along the way. And at some stage we came across a little kind of ponds naturally created in the sand, and we knew that the tide will be coming back in about 1 or 2 hours. So we tried to save a couple of jellyfish that were thrown away or washed ashore, and we knew that they are very fresh. They have like still tentacles intact, and all the structure of the jelly is still good, and we know that they can't just move by themselves, because they don't have typical muscle stuff to use. So we just placed a couple of them in those little ponds, natural ponds, and it was our saving mission. I'm not sure if any of those jellies will survive, but if they did survive until the actual high tide, then lovely. So after that, we returned to the car with Elizabeth, and she stayed in the car while Julian and myself, we decided to attempt to find the geocache there. And about geocache, I wrote and spoke about before, so you can search for the geocaching, or actually select the category of geocaching in activities, and you will find all the posts that are related to geocaching where I wrote about them, so you will know what it is. But basically it's just hidden smaller or bigger containers with some logbook that you, if you find them, you can log yourself in with the date, and this way people kind of play a scavenger hunt type of fun while they are traveling across different countries, and at the same time they look for clues and those hidden caches. And we were able to, this was a multi-cache, so it required a couple of waypoints and a bit of puzzles and whatever, a bit of brain work to get clues and get the final code to open the box. The problem was that the box itself was seized by salty breeze and salty water from the ocean. So it was metal box with the code to open it, but unfortunately over time it got seized and it wouldn't open. But we thought that we got the right code, so the owner of the cache needed to be notified. We sent the code, and if he confirmed that the code is right, we could log it into the geocaching app, and that's what we did. And afterwards we returned home, prepped a little bit, and we ate some dinner, and afterwards we decided to still go before sunset and go with the sauna, but not for people or for general kind of business effort, but only for ourselves as a family effort. And it was an amazing experience because we went a bit further than we usually stay on the beach. We went closer to the water. We knew that it's a low tide, so it was cool that we could just be there alone. And once people completely disappeared from the beach, it was an amazing experience. Julian went in with ourselves, then we went to the ocean. In between we were playing football and just enjoying a family time. And later on, when it was completely dark, we could see the moon was massive. It was half moon, but it was still massive and nice. It was just a beautiful evening/night. It was completely dark when we were leaving Rasnaula, so I needed to be very careful while driving through the beach because there was no lights except for the car lights, and I needed to find the actual exit to get out of the beach, which was tricky at first, but then we identified it fairly quickly, and it was the end of the day. So that's a very long episode. I will finish it up now. Thank you very much for being here. I always appreciate your time spending on listening to me, reading the blog, or watching the episodes. It means a lot because you're basically supporters of this project. Even though it's accountability tool for myself, it turned into something more because there is now a small but tight community around it. So thank you very much once again. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, because I know that around the globe different people from different countries watch it. And stay tuned and see you again tomorrow.